Hi guys, welcome to my Xcom 2 Ward shows and modded core collection. It's right off of Steam Workshop. Type in core collection, boom. Not sure how many playlists, there's quite a few. Yes, so I have an app on my phone. I can pull up one of the 51 vending machines. I can see exactly how much money it's made, and I can even see what product is in each coil. So I can see how many packs of chips are left, how many chocolates are left. So if I go and service that machine, I know exactly what. That is amazing. So you can see all that remotely then. You don't have to go and actually put drive all on price. Real quick, final, what do you see? What's your advice to young people? I know you offer a lot of it who say, I'm scared to start a business. My biggest advice is to give it a try because a lot of people are scared and they say, oh, what if it doesn't work out? The question is, what if it does? Good stuff. Western Europe. Thanks for joining us. Incredible story. For the South African Thank you so much. All right. John, I love it. I love that philosophy. Don't think about what if it doesn't work out. Think about what if it does. This is a very similar story to one that I read in the San Francisco area about an ex-cop who, while he was a cop, as a side hustle, bought a couple of ATMs. Yeah. And now he's got like a whole fleet of ATMs. Cool. Moves them around depending on what the business is. He's working millions. I love that he said he's got that tracking software because you used to send somebody, a worker or yourself, and actually see what's left in the machine, what people are buying. The fact that he can do that remotely and he uses Wi-Fi to his phone and he knows what he needs to stock up on, that's incredible. It is, but you missed the crucial question. What's he doing? What's he doing about shrinkflation? Shrinkflation? Right. Speaking of lack of shrinkflation, as China ramps up military spending, one company trying to make sure America stays ahead in defense technology. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allwood live at Lockheed Martin's production plant in Marietta, Georgia. What's going on there, Madison? Hey, John, oh, that's right where I am anyways. Okay. Let's bring two specialists. We got two grenadiers. Templar. Skirmisher. Airlines works naturally with the water in your body to help you go. Through your gut and your mood will follow. Build items. Templar. There's nothing better than Subway Series football, except you add on all new football sidekick. We're talking a $2 football churro, $3 football pretzel, and a $5 football cookie. Every football deserves a perfect sidekick. Order one with your favorite Subway Series sub today. Hi, this is Christina again. Oh, I see. About an all-new special offer from my friends at your community bathroom model that you don't want to miss. We're giving you 50% off installation and promoting all features for up to 1 year. And let's rock and roll. Fuck, I love coffee. Take advantage of the special TV offer today. Only days left. You get 50% off installation and no interest and no fees for up to 1 year. Plus a free safety upgrade. Go to jacuzzi.remodel.com.
Just came down. The aliens have amassed a huge force to strike one of the resistance outposts nearby. Those people desperately need any help we can provide them.
Today, Joe Biden is doing something very incredible, but never bring us something to do. It's actually campaigning in Wisconsin. We'll have the details. Join us tonight. It's right here on Heaven. I'm making an order.
Let me guess. One driving high combo, next remains.
One of those chosen is leading an assault on the resistance encampment in this area. Our people are doing what they can to fight back. We need to help protect the civilians trapped nearby. There's a group of resistance soldiers hunkered down not far from your position. Move in and help fend off the attacking alien forces.
Reading the story program. I was working with our dogs by reading stories to them. Action. Double therapy dogs make a very big difference with day-to-day mental health. Thank you for your support. It allows our therapy dogs
No need to ask twice.
senior.
They may hate each other.
Who would you rather be here with?
I know I'm the arrow.
But they're going to need each other.
Both our exes are here. Let's just pretend we're together.
Picking adults is not going to work. We're on 7th grade.
We're all in love with it when it comes to stuff. Showtime. Are they doing Titanic?
They're gone. Show's over. Oh my god.
Do you have a mom or something like that?
These mutons seem a little more agile than the ones below.
This job is good.
It looks like they're still serving as the aliens' front line, though.
The U.S. by producing right here in America. FBA's Madison Allward is live from the production plant in Marietta, Georgia. And I would guess that that plane behind you is the nose of the C-130.
Ding, 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 John, you are right. That is the C-130 behind me. This plane, which is also given the nickname of Hercules or Herc, it's turning 70 years old today. Quite a birthday for an iconic piece of equipment. You know, as you mentioned, with 2 wars overseas and growing concerns around national defense, we are getting an inside look here today in Marietta,
That's
Georgia.
one of the
on
elders
most
chosen,
tried
and it's not going to make things
of
easy
defense
on us.
aid equipment.
Let's try
The
to take
C-130
care of it as quickly as
like
possible.
I said, 70 years old, and over that time, 2,700 of these planes have been made.
Commander,
And
Advent isn't
approximately
backing
half
off.
of them
They've
are
got units in
still
the AO that
operational.
are ignoring
A
our
true
forces
testament
just
to
to get a
American
better
made
shot at
quality
the
and
civilians.
innovation.
Take those bastards
Do
down.
what's right, respect others, and all excellence are the 2 core values of our corporation. The way that we're built to provide fly fast enough to refuel fighter jets and slow enough to refuel helicopters to be able to land in 3,000 foot levels is what makes this aircraft so unique, which makes it so viable. In fact, we'll continue to modernize and provide advances in the aircraft. We'll continue to ensure that it will support our global warfighting needs for us 3 years ago.
And when it comes to years, this year they're expected to build 20 of these C-130s, although they do have the capability to build up to 36. John, I'll send it back to you.
It's not sexy like an F-16 or an F-22, but it sure works. Madison Allward Force, man.
It's durable.
All right, Sandra.
California could soon face some electric bills, not just on how much electricity you use, but how much money you make.
The Fed is printing money like crazy. Debt is rising by the trillions. Is there a way to profit from this madness? What do these experts say?
The more money you print, the less dollars reported to taxpayers on a third of their portfolio. Even Bank of America says $3,000 bills is entirely possible.
Silver still has the biggest fund coming up.
Gold outperforms stocks, and silver will outperform gold.
Experts agree. Massive money printing and rising debt could send gold and silver prices much higher. How high? Find out. Look for the experts' money printing report and gold and silver decision guide. See just how high gold and silver prices could go. I think gold and silver. And the report and guide are free. Also, extra, you can get $15,000 in bonus gold and silver. Call your capital now at 800-885-2000. 800-885-2000. 800-885-2000.
A lot of people ask me, Abby, what are you doing these days? Well, I have a new farm I'm working. Too much? I'm going strong. I'm doing the things I love to do, and now I can do it on my own schedule. But you know what helps me the most, everybody? Balancing the two. It's such a simple concept, and it works beautifully. You want to make a huge change in your life? Try balancing the two. Get 35% off and $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code BOO.
Good shot, buddy. Okay.
What's this? No, thank you. This is amazing.
I know. It is. Yeah.
Do more with your money. Save 50% today at Quicken.com.
So it is decided.
To learn more about this limited time offer from Renewal by Anderson. Have you been looking at replacing your home's windows or doors? If so, I'm sure price is a big factor. At Renewal by Anderson, we're really proud of our fair pricing policy.
We're a typical middle class family. We have a budget. We need to be aware of where our money's going. And the great thing about Renewal by Anderson was they actually had several financing options that make sense for our situation.
So, let's talk windows. Our Fibrex window material is like the gold standard in the industry. It's a composite material that lasts longer, performs better, and is actually 2 times stronger than vinyl. Okay, so you're carrying this out to your back deck, but you gotta stop and try to shove open that patio door. That can be real frustrating.
The resistance team is in the clear. They're moving to help the other survivors. There's a large group of civilians pinned down within range of your position. Sensors indicate hostile forces are closing in fast. We need to get in there before the aliens slaughter those people.
And if you want them compatriots, we'll honor that right. So that there's no prejudice. Let us give you a place to windows and doors that what you have done.
You have the intention of looking at different companies doing some due diligence, and we started with by Anderson. And it was such an
Oops.
process that we ended up having further.
It's Renewal by Anderson's 31-day sales event. Before March 31st, save $377 on every window and save $777 on every patio door and entry door with no money down, no monthly payment, and no interest for 12 months. Our 31-day sales event ends March 31st. For a free appointment during our sale, call 1-800-704-4200.
Energy bills in California households may go up if they don't use more money saved. States a rate system based on, guess what? Income. Senior national correspondent William
Company.
Montanez is live in LA for us. William, some people might find this hard to believe.
Yeah, and there's a backlash going on right now for 3 reasons. Number one, price. Prices here are already 2% higher than ours. 2, there's finally you paying more for using less energy. 3, privacy. Now, everyone in California will have to turn over their tax return just to pay their electric bill.
Clean energy is just less expensive.
It's also now cheaper to generate electricity. Solar is from coal.
Renewable energy is not cheaper than natural gas or coal or other types of baseload energy.
That debate is playing out in America's wind and solar capital, California, where the average electric bill is $261 a month.
That's probably renewable, but they're not all.
Californians pay 32 cents a kilowatt hour, almost twice the natural average.
Electricity rates skyrocketed throughout the state.
Leading the charge, Governor Gavin Newsom mandating 90% clean electricity by 2035.
We see a fossil-free future.
Like to pay for the new plants, batteries, and transmission lines, the state plans to build customers, not just for the power they use, but also based on their income.
This doesn't make sense.
This makes it cheaper to consume more electricity.
Households earning more
Nice shot.
$73 a month on top of their electric bill. So, Senator, in the name of every Democrats here, feel that those who make more should pay more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. That's it for us. I'm Xavier.
And I'm John Roberts. We will see you again tomorrow on the left of County. Starting with
All right. Thank you very much, Sean and Sandra. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Martha McKee. Callum, and this is the story. The battle over TikTok has now kicked into
That's the
high
eldest
gear.
warlock.
So where do
All
you stand
reports indicate
on
he's
this?
nearly as
As
dangerous
everyone
as they
tries
are
to
when it
figure
comes
this
to
out, Senator
psionic
Rush Westbrook
capabilities.
on what the Senate will do now that this has passed in the House, and the breakdown and the chaos gripping Haiti as the United States sends in the Marines. We just heard from Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State. We will get to caught up on that, and General Jack Keane joins us. But first, as of today, 6 counts now struck by the judge in the Georgia case against former President Donald Trump. Still faces 10 more charges there. The judge said there was a quote lack of detail that was provided by the prosecution around the potential charges. Embarrassing for Fulton County DA Bonnie Willis.
How'd you come from?
Ruling on her future and whether or not she can stay on this case. This is totally separate from that part of the story. We expect we may hear something shortly from the judge on that. And that came because of allegations of an improper relationship that may have been funded by taxpayers with Special Prosecutor Nathan Green. Let's bring in Alina Hava and the attorney for former President Trump on the team on several of these cases. Alina, welcome here. Good afternoon to you. What's your reaction to what happened today in Georgia? I wish that all the counts had been dropped because that's probably what should have been. At least it was a
One more.
right direction. It goes to the sloppiness of, frankly, the prosecutors down there. We know that that's the case, unfortunately. But this should not have been brought in general. The attorney handling this case put out a statement that I think says it all.
Nice shot.
At the end of the day, remember, we've got a prosecutor here who's currently being questioned about her own ethical obligations or ability to even stay on this case. I'm going to defer to this judge to make the right decision, but today was a good step in the right
They're
direction.
vulnerable to
What do
the
you think it
chosen's
means for
attack.
whether or not we will
Get
decide
them
to
back on their
remove Bonnie
feet
Willis from
ASAP.
this case? What does your gut tell you on this, Lena? I don't think it's indicative necessarily of his actions in terms of Fanny. I think that Fanny, whatever she calls herself, she's got her own issues that are outside of this case that really have permeated her decision-making ability. And as I've always said, as my clients always said, we know that these were motivated by one thing and one thing only, and that's election interference that's trying to bring Trump down. And on the heels of last night, I think that it's very clear that the American people are seeing it for what it is and are going to stand up and not take it very much. I want to get your thoughts, even though you're not directly involved in this, you're part of the larger legal team representing the former president. But the first case that is set to go to trial is in New York City here on March 25th under Judge Rashan. And it deals with the hush money that was paid to Stormy Daniels. That's what the charges in this case, and that it was diverted in the way that it was paid through legal fees. Do you think that case is going to get underway on March 25th? And how does the former president feel about this one that is likely to happen before, right in the middle of the election season? Yeah, it's a couple of good questions there. Number one, do I think it's going to go ahead? Well, really it shouldn't. We have an immunity defense that's currently up on the Supreme Court. It's going to be made a decision that should be stayed until all of those decisions are made. Number one, and we'll see what happens there. Number two, let's remember what this is, Martha. Stormy Daniels is probably one of the oldest legendary let's get Trump cases that we saw come out. Her attorney, I believe, is in prison or was. Probably disbarred. Michael Cohen, yet again, reared his ugly head in that. And here we go, years and years later, they decide, oh, guess what? He's the GOP nominee. Let's bring up this case again. We have Mark Lawrence, who was in this case involved, wrote a book about how they didn't bring the case against President Trump, and it infuriated him and drove him to the point of quitting. This is all about politics. How does the president I think exactly that way? This is political. There's no place for this in America. DAs and AGs should not be visiting the White House and the administration before bringing complaints against the leading front-running candidate for the Republican Party because Joe Biden can't walk and can't spell Bob backwards. That's not our problem. That's their problem. But it's very clear what the motivation is. And I think the president's frustrated for the nation and ready to get back to work in November. So, everybody watched the real estate evaluation case and the enormous settlement that they are asking for in that case. Any update on when that money is supposed to be paid? What's the latest? Yeah, the latest is the same. Obviously, it wasn't a settlement, it was a judgment. President Trump has no business or wouldn't settle for something he didn't do. So this was a judgment by a judge that was clearly had Miss James had in his pocket. You know, the judgment was absurd. The American people see that. The number is ridiculous. It's never been seen before. We truly stand on the same position that the appellate division needs to step in and decide what's right and parse out basically all the injustice that has happened to President Trump. So we're waiting on the appellate division. We'll see what happens. So I know they announced a bond in the Carroll case, around $90 million in the Carroll case this week. Any closer to getting a bond in the real estate case? And you're right, it's judgment, not settlement. No agreement made in that case. Yeah, no, and unfortunately I can't speak to that. That's privileged that I am the attorney, one of the attorneys on that case. But like I said, the judgment's absurd, and the fact that we're even talking about this, Martha, is absurd. And I hope that the appellate division will.
Good now.
As we've seen them do a few times before. Okay, we will see. Always good to speak with you, Alina Hama. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
On the latest on all of that. Thank you. So coming up, we're going to dig into this TikTok issue, which is really an extraordinary story and very far-reaching tentacles into American society these days. They're fighting for their survival. They have been lobbying up a storm on Capitol Hill to stay available to Americans, but now the House has voted, and they want to see this either banned or disbanded from its Chinese ownership. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn, who has long been working to defend children online and their social media interactions, she's here next.
Let us begin.
These users were then compelled to call their members of Congress. We had millions of kids calling Congress. In some cases, threatening suicide. In another case, impersonating. This was a preview of what would happen if the CCP wanted to use it to prevent Congress from acting.
And I must elevate myself to a higher stratum.
Feeling clear as a clear is right.
Excellent. No casualties. Yes. Sometimes the chosen gets out of whack and fucks my boys right up, man. I lose a good guy once in a while from them fuckers. Depends on the day, I guess.
Victory today is a minor footnote in history. A small step on the path of salvation.
This looks like an action plan.
Elders would like to believe that the chosen are beyond our reach. Immortal children, immortal gods. Both will fall.
Your car's steering wheel could be a literal ticking time bomb. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is calling for a recall of 67 cars.
Another impressive effort, Commander. My expectations were high, and yet you have exceeded
If you or
them.
someone you know suffered any injuries while you deployed airbag, even if your accident was your fault, you could be entitled to compensation. Oregon has won more airbag cases than any firm in the country. Do not delay. Call 1-800-602-5300 or visit forthepeople.com to learn more. So, what you getting?
2 Nashville hot tenders and 3 mandarin orange tenders.
What about you?
3 classic tenders.
4, 8 bite flash. 4 of a kind.
Oh, really? Is it always a competition?
I am the shrimp bud. From the #1 rated brand, when he's out of power. The Ego Power Plus clothing. Which incredible 765 seater men. It runs up to 90 minutes of a single charge. Exclusive closed case and people authorized use.
When these business owners need cash fast, they turn to Biz2 Credit to fund what's next. From fitness studios
Our
to medical
inspiration
offices
did
to every small
prove
business in
beneficial.
between, we've got you covered. Whether you need new equipment, funds to expand, or need money to cover unforeseen business expenses, Biz2 Credit is the trusted partner for your small business funding needs. Scan the code on your screen now or go to biz2credit.com to apply. Biz2 Credit, funding what's next.
I'll see that work begins immediately, Commander. I'll contact you when I have a full report of it.
Maximum power consumption reached.
Wherever Nelly goes, the party follows.
real project. If we're going to slow them down, we'll need to move fast.
LA Protect is hosting the 2024 Jazz on CBC. They may hate each other.
Who would you rather be here?
I love you.
But they're going to meet each other.
Or our exes are here. Let's just pretend we're together.
Making them jealous is not going to work. We're on 7th grade.
We're all insensitive when it comes to this stuff. Showtime. Are they doing Titanic?
They're gone. Show's over.
Oh my god.
CBC.
Do you have a mom or something in it?
But you. When it comes to drugs, how much freedom is too much for kids? Drugs are out there. Will my team feel free to say no around other kids? I didn't live drug-free when I was younger. And I admit that to my kids. Drugs worry me, but how can I feel free to talk about it with my kids?
Questions about drugs and kids? Call or chat to get real-time support.
It is now the White House saying that it is glad that a bill banning TikTok in the United States is moving forward after House lawmakers overwhelmingly passed this legislation earlier today. The app is used by 170 million Americans, and it is owned by Chinese company ByteDance, raising red flags about our national security and data. TikTok encouraging users to New GOP Congressman Mike Gallagher says that the effort by TikTok and ByteDance to push back on members of Congress on the Hill on all of this has some shocking results. Watch this. Without a similar transparency around that, you can never mitigate against the threat of propaganda on the platform. And for those who think that threat really doesn't exist, I would point to what happened last week when TikTok forced a pop-up on all of its users asking for their sensitive information and calling members of Congress. We had kids calling members of Congress threatening suicide if we took action on the bill. Unbelievable, right? So if this passes the Senate, President Biden says that he will sign the ban, despite the fact that the White House has also been under pressure to keep TikTok going. And boy, the TikTok folks must have been happy when they saw this on Super Bowl Sunday for the president.
Chiefs are nice. Two great quarterbacks, like the side. I even say I was pretty Super Bowl for the gamer commercials. Gamer halftime show. Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey. Great chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, we didn't get a news today, but we did get a TikTok. Let's bring in Republican Senator from Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn, who's leading the Kids Online Safety Act. He has worked on it for years in the Senate. What is your reaction to today, Senator? And what do you think will happen in the Senate and when?
Yes,
Alien alloys.
It's creepy hearing the chosen talk as if they were just like us.
That is a very good sign, and I think it shows that TikTok has overstepped.
Avenger
People
plotting new
realize,
course.
with all of these people calling offices last week saying, don't do this, I'll do something to myself. People saw firsthand how the Chinese Communist Party can use TikTok and weaponize it. So it helped prove the point. It has pushed it across the finish line. Now it will come to the Senate, and whether it's the House bill or a companion Senate bill, the good thing is this. People realize this is spyware. It is soft propaganda. It is coming from TikTok and ByteDance, which is owned in part by the Chinese Communist Party. China has a national security law. We saw this with Hong Kong. We know it with TikTok. And they have access to every bit of data that a TikTok user generates. So the Chinese Communist Party wants to own the virtual view of 170
Bunch of supplies.
People are waking up to that threat. Senator, here's the political problem. 170 million Americans use this. And here is the former president, Donald Trump, talking about this. And he said he would sign a ban on TikTok back in 2020. But here's what he says now.
When inspired, our team is actually quite efficient.
kids on TikTok who will go crazy without it. There's, a lot of good, and there's a lot of bad with TikTok. But the thing I don't like is that without TikTok, you can make Facebook bigger, and I consider Facebook to be an enemy of the people, along with a lot of the media.
What do you say to that? Different
The
opinion
Advent
from
offices
from
appear to be
the
similar,
And
if not
of course,
physically the
we need to
same as
keep
the common
Facebook
average
and
user,
straight
in terms of
with
power
all
and
of the
agility.
others. Yes,
However,
but right
field
now,
reports indicate a more
this is
developed
our
mental
opening
acuity,
to stand
as
up
the
to the
officers do
Chinese
provide
Communist
tactical
Party and
directives to
say,
the subordinate
you
Advent
are not
forces.
going to be able to control what our young people see and say and
From my own
think.
experience,
We're not going
Advent
to
generally
give you
deploys heavy
the
security
ability
rather
to
than
build a
subterfuge when it
virtual
comes to
view of
protecting
them
their
and to
primary
track
facilities,
everywhere they go.
at least the ones
Let me
I had
say
access to
in-
personally.
I'm sorry,
If
Let
they
me
have
ask you
gone
about the
to the
free
trouble
speech
of
argument
hiding
on
this
this. You
black
heard Thomas Matthews
I
stand up and
suspect
say
our
this.
findings
TJ
there will
came
lead
out
us
and
to
said it.
even
But there's
greater
an
questions.
irony here, it would appear, because you don't have free speech. All your data is getting downloaded by the Chinese government. So what do you make of that argument? And secondly, can this be spun off and be an American company that people can feel confident in, and then they can keep it?
And that is right, because if TikTok, see, and the ball is in TikTok's court. If they want to be a part of the American marketplace, separate themselves from ByteDance, go through the divestiture, and then algorithmically reform themselves so that they are not collecting that data and sending it to Beijing, China, to the Chinese Communist Party.
Well, I think everybody would have to get new phones and get a new app in order to make that kind of transition. It is stunning. And also, I like to point this out, that in China, children are not allowed to be on TikTok. And then the very limited version that they have, which mostly pumps out Chinese history and educational content, they can't use it, children, from 10 p.m. at night until 6 a.m. I think that tells a lot right there. Senator Blackburn, thank you very much. Thank you to see you. Thank you, Senator. So that is a huge story. We'll see where that goes in the Senate. And this, the U.S. deploying a Marine anti-terrorism unit to Haiti. Chaos and violence risks mass maritime migration
Incoming message for you, Commander.
into the United
Exit through to
States
your
from
quarters
Haiti.
now.
You have made considerable progress against the aliens over the past month, Commander. I hope that your ongoing efforts will
My name is
lead to
Marie.
further
I'm 49
success.
years old, and I'm a business owner. I own a lemonade and ice cream shop in Florida. So I can feel and see that my lines have gotten deeper just from having this on. I'm still Marie, and I got plugged into this medical. I did not want a dramatic change. I wanted something subtle, and I'm really, really happy with the results. It's still me, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic is FDA approved to temporarily make frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better. The effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection. Serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, and muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Do not receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow, eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Tell your doctor about your medical history, muscular nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Avenger plotting new course.
The beauty of any martial art is you need a discipline. You have to have a discipline to live a healthy life. I'm almost 70 years old. I practice martial arts and I take balance in nature. I started taking balance in nature at 10 years old, and I feel good.
Central.
I just love the CGI in this game too.
Can be far less disconcerting when the structure is already expired.
Get 35%
The
off
results,
and without any additional steps by using
it's
discount code
best to see
BOSSLEAVES.
for yourself.
While window
My
seats would be
autopsy
a
of the
typical
Advent captain
choice here
has
in the
confirmed
local
the
area,
existence of an
some
M
companies even
similar in
advertise
design to the unit I
quality
extracted from the
and
commander.
American
But there are differences.
So listen to what Michael
What
Steele
kind
from
of
New Ohio
differences?
Anderson has to say.
The data you see is being pulled directly from this Advent captain's implant. The sequence here is essentially you, Commander. Or at least the tactical information they are processing through your mind. As you can see, the data is nearly identical.
They're
using you against
It's
us.
beautiful like
Yes,
but it doesn't
however,
require the maintenance.
the
We
Advent
engineered it to
data
be
shows
kind of
signs
stronger
of
than vinyl.
decay.
So you're getting
Removing the commander from the network has
Now
likely
this
caused
is innovation that you have
significant
featured on
damage.
your windows that allows for a better view.
Our
Yes,
tracing screens are
what
made
we're
of
seeing here is a
ultra-fine
psionic
stainless steel
network.
mesh, which is
These
virtually
implants are
invisible.
capable of
You get
receiving
less
and
dirt buildup,
transmitting
more
information,
fresh air
a great
circulation, and a
deal
better
of
view out of your
information,
window.
Now,
somehow
if we're talking
encoded
about
in a
comfort, how
stream of
much does the
psionic
glass
energy.
have?
The glass
My
in the
working
window makes
theory:
a huge difference. Our
Advent uses
high-performance,
this network to
low-control
augment the
smart
tactical
sunglass is
readiness of its
infused
troops,
with silver
as well
oxide.
as disseminate
It's
orders
engineered to
from
help
its
keep the
central
cold air
command.
outside in the winter and keep the warm air outside in the summer. It also blocks 5% of the harmful UV rays that
Even in
stain
the
your furniture
subject's
and your hardwood
diminished
floors.
condition, this implant continues to have an
And right
effect.
now, renewal by Anderson.
Truly remarkable.
Or a weakness.
It's renewal by Anderson's
But I need direct
31-day
access
sales
to their
event.
network to
Before
know for
March
sure.
31st, save
This will never be
$377 on every
You'd need
window
an
and
active
save
link. That would mean
$777
hacking
on
a
every
live
patio
Advent
door
office.
and entry door
Like I
with
said,
no money down. 200 minutes and no interest for 12 months. Our 31-day sales
Your
event
call,
ends
Commander.
March 31st. For a free appointment during our sale, call
New objective added.
1-800-704-4200. That's 1-800-704-4200.
Commander,
Chaos and
I've
violence
updated
and
our current
anarchy
objectives based on the most
sweeping
recent
Haiti.
findings.
Armed
The
gangs
Advent captain
attacked the
seems to
largest
provide a
prison
means of
in the least.
stabilizing the
An
link
estimated
between the local
3,500
subordinates and the
prisoners into
Advent
the
network
streets.
tower itself.
Now,
Commander, if
today,
we're
an
going to try to
elite
build
U.S.
this
Marine
skulljack
unit
that Tigan
is
came up
on the
with,
ground
we're going to need a
there to
specialized facility to
protect
test it out.
the United States Embassy in Port-au-Prince as officials prepare for the possibility of a flood of Haitian migrants now who would likely look
Knowing that my
to
past search experiences are
we're
limited,
doing this
I
for
am
a
sure that she
short-term
appreciates the fact that the wheels have fallen
at the
off their
moment, we do
courses
not yet see
before triaging
larger
our troops.
sizes
To the
as
uninitiated,
American
Advent troops may
but
look
we are
friendly.
alert to that.
The aliens have
You're alert to
disguised
that
its most
possibility.
glaring
I think you're
divergence
right.
from the human form
The
with a
driving
carefully
conditions
designed
in
helmet.
Haiti could very well bless more people.
Despite a thorough
For moments,
analysis,
retired
I
reporter
have yet to
General
discover
Jack
what,
King joins
if
us.
any,
But
advantage the
first,
Advent
to
hybrid
senior
soldiers'
correspondent Steve
enormous
Harrigan.
eyes
Steve.
provide. The Advent Sun Lancer was apparently outfitted with the intention of serving as a civilian peacekeeping unit within the city centers. Although they are equipped with weapons capable of administering non-lethal blows, recent reports indicate an increasingly aggressive stance taken by these units.
And just moments ago, Secretary of State Blinken said the U.S. goal for Haiti is free and
Although
fair
Advent clearly
democratic
intended for
elections.
these units
Oh,
to be
good.
a means of dealing with any unruly civilians within the city centers, it seems they have come to rely on more brutal means of pacification in the time since.
Assistance, humanitarian assistance, development assistance, and economic get built up.
On the streets of Port-au-Prince in Haiti, though, they are a long way from elections. 80% of the city is now controlled by violent criminal gangs. The acting prime minister couldn't even get back inside the country. That's because those gangs attacked the airport. They also attacked prisons, releasing several thousand prisoners. Corey Mills, the congressman from Florida, led his
These
own
robotic
mission to
units
Haiti. A
developed
helicopter
by
mission
Advent
rescued
seem to be
10 U.S.
wholly
missionaries
autonomous,
stranded there.
capable of
He says
targeting
the
and engaging
administration
selected
has not
units
been helpful.
without reliance on external
This is sending a
verification.
direct message
Although
that
it
the
falls
federal
on me
government
to
only
work through the
cares
initial
about government,
disassembly,
not about the
I
American
fully
people.
intend on
It's the
involving
wrong
Shen
thing
in
to
this
say, I have to
process,
tell you. I don't
as her
subscribe to
knowledge
that.
of robotics far outweighs my own.
The U.S. plans to spend $300 million on a Kenyan peacekeeping force to try and bring order into Haiti. The big text, though, the Kenyans won't go until they know that there's an actual government in place in Haiti. And for now, the U.S. Embassy remains open on a limited basis, and it's just been reinforced with more U.S. Marines. Arthur, back to you.
A million children on the streets in Haiti, according to some estimates, are not in school. They're likely to be snapped up by some of these gangs and enlisted into their
Happy to hear our most
violent
recent
actions.
covert action
Stephen
yielded some new
thank you very
intel on the
much,
chosen.
Steve Harrigan.
starting to win
And with
over
that,
my
we bring in
people,
retired
Commander.
Corps General Jack
And
King,
that
chairman of
says
the Institute for the
It's
Study
going
of
so well.
and a Fox
Sounds
News
like
senior
my Reapers
strategic
can take on
analyst.
some
General,
new
why don't
ones.
you thoughts on what's happening and
Shooter.
unfolding in Haiti, which now the United
Our
States Marines
influence with the
are going to be
resistance
on the
factions
ground
has motivated them to
protecting
share
our
some new
embassy,
information
at
on
least
the
to that
chosen.
extent. But I also want to ask you, before you dig into that, sir, if you could respond to this editorial for piece from the Wall Street Journal, Biden shrinks the U.S. military. Mr. Biden thinks this is an acceptable moment to put American defenses on a diet
And the administration says it's merely complying with budget caps negotiated last year with Congress. Yet few priorities escaped the axe. Your thoughts as we face yet another protection effort, at least in Haiti at this hour?
Yeah, I mean, the intel community just a couple of days ago, all who work for President Biden's administration, actually said that the challenges we're facing in terms of global security challenges worldwide, dealing with Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, and the return of transnational extremism again, and the rise of a threat in Afghanistan, this is the most significant challenges we have faced in decades, to include the fact that we have people crossing our border unimpeded. And yet, no mention of this at the State of the Union. And here we have, for the fourth time in the Biden administration, a reduction in the defense budget, because there's a 1% increase, but obviously inflation is greater than that. This is reckless, unjust, and also irresponsible. We have major threats that we're facing on a scale we haven't seen since World War II, and the willingness of the Arabs, Russia, China, and Iran to work together is obvious to anybody that looks at this. And it means the possibility that we could have conflict not just in one region, but in two regions, because they're working together. Our adversaries see this when they look at us, Martha. They believe the United States is weak in its leadership. They think there's political dysfunctionality here, and you certainly can make a case for it. Lack of social cohesion, and a military that is not as good as it used to be and has never truly recovered from the 9/11 wars, which we need resources to get our way out of it. It is a serious situation, and the administration is not talking about it.
One quick last specific point on Haiti. This is Representative Coronel, who ran his own rescue mission. It's admirable.
Commander, as of right now, we don't have enough intel to get a solid bearing on the local resistance forces in that area.
This is unfortunately a pattern of abandonment by the Biden administration that has existed since 2021, whenever he left America's line in Afghanistan. You know, I always look at the fact that if the government's not going to be willing to do its job, that America has to step up and do certain things that are required. If Americans are abroad and they're in trouble, I'm going to come to their aid. And if Biden's not willing to do his job, I'll do it for him.
Your reaction to all that, sir?
Well, first of all, we should be getting our people out of there who want to get out of there and make that kind of contact with the embassy. But you look at Haiti, this is a failed state. There's no government.
Everything we've seen indicates the chosen aren't going to stop hunting us, Commander. Our only option is to find them first. To do that, we'll need to work with the resistance on a covert action in the ring.
Necessary condition if you want to make progress with governance, the political system, and also economically. Security has to return. And I'm not suggesting that this is something the United States should reflect the contrary. I believe this is a problem for the Caribbeans, the Latin American countries, and we should contribute our thought leadership on doing this, and certainly make certain our embassies protected.
Avengers plotting new course.
And our missionaries who have been on the ground there, running orphanages and taking care of children in the midst of all of this chaos, they require our support as well. General, thank you very much. General Jack joining us this afternoon. Thank you very much. So Russia's level dangles the threat.
The elders never had any issues targeting civilians, and their chosen are no different. The resistance is counting on us to protect their people. We can't let them down.
Our research was a success, Commander.
I saw the story on the performance. I was on a journey for a really long time, buying some relief. Percentage works. Percentage helps real people get real relief from the symptoms of psoriatic arthritis or psoriasis.
Throughout their
Serious
various
allergic
facilities
reactions,
and
severe skin reactions that look like eczema, and increased
much
risk
in
of
the same way
infections.
that alien mechanized units
Tell your
are.
doctor if you have
A significant amount of time was likely spent developing the optical sensors and targeting systems, which I expect Shin will want to thoroughly examine following the disassembly process.
Did you know there's a silver shortage? Former Wall Street analyst John Rapino predicts
While most of my involvement in the chip development process was on the theoretical side,
so the silver
I can't help but feel some degree of responsibility.
solar and electric cars are using all the metal that is out there and then some.
Maximum power
That's going to
consumption
spike the
reached.
silver price the next couple of years.
I used to own just gold. Now I also own silver. Why should you consider silver? Find out on the silver shortage report, and my trusted friends at Lear Capital will send it to you for free. Lear is who I trust whenever I buy silver.
Maximum power
If you're
consumption
from
reached.
silver shortage
Power
report, and
relay
my experts
construction
believe silver
initiated.
prices are set to soar. Lear Capital, over 25 years in business, thousands of 5-star reviews, and a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. When you call, ask them, you can get up to $15,000 in bonus silver. Call 800-654-1010. 800-654-1010.
Excuse me, I'm taking a picture of this.
Oh, no problem. Yes.
You need Verizon. Get the new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition. You get iPhone 15 Pro and iPad and Apple Watch SE
Maximum
all on
power
us. Only on Verizon. Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
There were
I'm
some
former Major
casualties
League
during that
pitcher Andy
last
Pettitte.
covert
I
action,
teamed up with
Commander.
Tonal
But our
Towers
troops
after
will all
seeing their
recover after some
life-changing
well-earned rest.
military and first responder training. Now we're expanding our mission to help veterans strong.
We are bound by a
We
common
want to help them rebuild their lives not only by giving them a home,
orders you
but
would
by
have us
providing
follow,
the services
Commander.
they need.
Tell us what must be done.
2 years ago,
Our
it was on Fox
influence with
News,
the resistance
commercials with
factions
Frank,
has
and
motivated
just
them
really
to
had
share some new
pull on my
information
heart
on the
to start,
chosen.
trying to help this foundation. And it's just something that you're an American. I just feel like, how can you not get behind it? You know, he's just done a great job. It's just been awesome being involved with him. All the funds are going to everything that T2T is doing, you know, to military families, whether it's building homes for them, the first responders, making a strong push to try to help the homeless around the country. And so I know they're buying hotels up in a lot of the major cities, and they're going to be down in Houston.
Covert is our specialty.
Let's
just hope your people can keep up.
That we've done, and so just a lot of great things going on. So that's what all this money, I believe, is being raised today is going to, is just their ultimate goals. Public service
I have
people
made a
always had
number of
soft spot for
interesting
my dad was a
discoveries,
police officer in Mac.
Advent doesn't seem to have any issues stationing completely autonomous weapons in close proximity to the people in most cities.
It just always
Really
had a
shows
spot
you
in my
how much
heart.
they care.
And so, like I said, can't believe I went so many years without even hearing or knowing
I
about
foresee
Tonal
a
Towers
number of
Foundation.
valuable
A couple of
applications
years ago,
stemming from this
first saw
technology.
it. And
I'll have
when
a
I did,
report
I immediately
assembled
was
as
like,
soon
I
as
gotta
the
get
research
involved.
is complete.
So it's just been a big success so far. Please join me in donating at t2t.org.
Strategic resource located.
Russia's Vladimir Putin ramping up nuclear threats against the West again today, telling state TV that he is ready to launch a strike if his country's independence is threatened. And President Biden says, understands those dangerous questions. Are we really ready for a nuclear war?
Avengers plotting new course.
From a military technical point of view, we are prepared, of course. I said that Biden is a representative of the traditional political school, and this is proved. But besides Biden, there are plenty of other specialists in the field of Russian-American relations and in the field of strategic deterrence. Therefore, I don't think that everything is rushing so head-on here, but we are ready for this.
Correspondent Benjamin Hall reported on full war in Ukraine from the front lines. While he was reporting there, he was gravely wounded by a Russian attack 2 years ago tomorrow. And that attack took the lives of Fox cameraman Pierre Shevsky and young Ukrainian producer Sasha Pushnova. And we remember them 2 years later. Ben Brable tells his story in his book, Faith, a war reporter's mission to make it home, and the tremendous documentary, Sacrifice and Survival, streaming now on Fox Nation, which really takes you back to just what this battle is about and what your battle was about as well, Ben. When you listen to Vladimir Putin, and 2 years into all of this, for you personally and for the world, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, we've heard about Putin flexing his muscles before. He's talked about the threat of nuclear weapons. I don't think that should be discarded. But at the moment, Putin and Russia are doing very well on the battlefield. They're pushing the Ukrainians back. So at this point, there's no need for them to use that. It's more of a threat that if the US and the West gets more involved, they might. But on the ground, people I speak to are really concerned. They don't have the weapons, they don't have the shells to fight back. Russia firing sometimes up to 20,000 shells a day. Ukrainians cannot keep up with it. So Putin talking very strongly today because he feels very strong. He feels it's going in.
Yeah, he said also the other day, why should we negotiate just because they're going on a mission? You know, if anything, this is a moment for them to strengthen and move in. And we heard from President Biden the other night, he said, we will not back down, I will not bow down. But how do you put those words, action behind those words? That,
you know, President Biden has been trying to get weapons for months to Ukraine. That's held up in Congress recently. Yesterday, $300 million were being sent over, but it is not enough. And I think one of the problems is not explaining what's happening in Ukraine, why Russia invaded, but why that impacts the rest of the nations are not responding. That's a message that the president is conveying. There is a reason to stop Russia. There's a message that has to be sent to other autocrats, other dictators, a clear message. Carry out something like this, we will respond. And I think that at the moment, a lot of autocrats, perhaps China, looking at Taiwan, are thinking, I'm not seeing a huge response from America. Maybe this is the chance to do it.
you know, with regard to, there's been talk of a spring offensive, there has been some background in for Russia in the past few weeks. Here's a map of the Ukrainian control in the gold color here, and the red is Russian control and you know, areas that are being fought over right now. Russia maintains that they have 18 to 20% of Ukrainian territory. That's just slightly more than they have had over the course of this.
Well, if you look at that map, I think one thing to expect about the agreement is that Russia will use that kind of dangerous capable. I think Ukraine has not taken a step to that. And so that's what 18 months ago, Vladimir Putin was willing to do a talk, willing to have peace talks. So they were on the defensive. That I think Russia at the moment thinks they won't go to any peace talks until it has a better position. So we're going to continue to see the offensives from Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Putin. So that their own electronic warfare as well. The drones Ukrainian continues to not be so effective. Over half of the shroud the sky. If that's going to happen, flying further back, there's critical bombs. So a lot of military techniques that Russia is doing now finally coming through again. Russian.
And let's personnel.
I mean, Vladimir Putin will keep the Siberia to Russia. There's a limit to that, but Ukraine will not have soldiers before Russia has soldiers. Sign of this country, so that's not a concern.
Get that over capital, as you said, $300 million. A new army fund that going to Ukraine, and that's just to be spent all good to see you. Thank you so much.
During a recent scouting operation, our friends in the resistance picked up readings from a massive psionic transmitter Advent just deployed in this area. As we understand it, destroying that transmitter while it's still connected to their network would cause catastrophic outages across the region. So that's exactly what we're going to do.
To protect children from the harmful effects of fuel blockers.
So, what'd you get?
2 natural hot tenders and large tenders. 3 classic tenders.
4 good fresh.
4 good hot win. 6 single cans. Thanks for sharing. I'm talking about $30.
What do you want something? Just last time.
Businesses go further with 5G solutions. That's why they choose T-Mobile for Business. PGA of America and T-Mobile partnering with 5G.
Advent has constructed a psionic transmitter in this area, tied directly into their primary network. Our intel suggests destroying it while it's still connected will severely damage their linked systems. Plant the explosives before they have a chance to pull the plug.
America's largest 5G network can do for your business.
Solid copy.
You know that thing? Yeah, that thing.
A great distance.
Someone made it a thing way back in the day. But where did it come from? How did it get all the way to you?
Double time.
Curious. Ancestry company find out. Because that thing has a story, and it's still being written. What are you waiting for, Sam? I'll let you.
Introducing Ned's Black Psoriasis. He thinks his flaky red patches people see.
Otezla is the #1 prescribed pill to treat plaque psoriasis. And Otezla can help you get clearer skin and reduce itching and flaking. No routine blood tests required. Doctors have been prescribing Otezla for nearly a decade. Otezla is also approved to treat psoriatic arthritis. Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Some people take Otezla with depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur.
With clear skin, Movie Night is a movie night. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Migrant kids at risk, thousands missing under Michael's watch.
So it is decided.
Anthony Rubin has shocking new insight exclusively on Prime Time.
There's a lot of loneliness and isolation. Right.
Good to go.
Reading positive story programs allows you to work with our dogs by reading stories to them. Interaction with our therapy dogs make a very big difference with the day-to-day. Thank you for your support of the event. Okay? It allows our therapy dog programs to seniors and
Moving to Overwatch. It's close.
You got this.
I have visual.
Something lost.
not really. Not where it's
It's important that we're local.
When you work in the same place, that very much makes it a local feel.
We're forming meaningful connections with people right here in our community.
Well done. That's
I
good.
hope to Joe.
The network
Every
separation
time I
has
walk
been
in, say it's
temporarily
Aquarius,
delayed.
I coach to Aquarius, and they would just let me through.
I really feel good about, helping other people. And that's how I was brought up.
I'll get him next time.
All right, we are watching all the movements of the candidates now that we have two candidates really.
I'll go quickly.
Joe Biden, the current president of the United States, is on the road and he is hitting as many of the swing states as he can. We are told over the course of the month of March, today brings him to Wisconsin, obviously a very volatile, close battleground state, and he is there today as he tries to move his campaign forward. As of last night, Joe Biden is the Democrat nominee based on the number of delegates that he accrued, and the former President Donald Trump is the Republican GOP nominee, as expected, based on reaching 1215 delegates. We'll keep on top of that story for you. Former UK Prime Minister Liz Truss today praising England's National Health Service for declaring a ban on puberty blockers for children under the age of 18 and urging her government to go a step further.
I'm delighted that the health service is now saying that no underage can be prescribed these drugs. But what I want to see is it stopped altogether, because we know that people are getting them on mail order. We know that they could get them privately.
And take a look at this. Nearly 8% of American adults now say they identify as LGBTQ+, more than double the number who said the same thing in 2012, or nearly double. Let's bring in Ollie London, who detransitioned in 2022 after undergoing more than 30 surgeries over the course of 10 years while identifying as a trans woman. He's also the author of the book Gender Madness, One Man's Devastating Struggle with Woke Ideology and His Battle to Protect Children. Ollie, welcome. Thank you very much for being here today. Give us a bit of your perspective on this as someone who has gone through this for such a large part of your life, and it has been
from experience that it is a real struggle if you go through gender dysphoria or if you question your identity. And we are seeing really staggering increases in the number of young Generation Z people identifying as transgender. And look, you know, adults can make decisions, however, children cannot. And what's happening in the UK, so British Prime Minister Liz Truss has welcomed this new ban on puberty blockers, but she's also introducing a bill to Parliament to try and also define sex as biological, which would mean that, you know, any child under 18, if they're a boy, they should not be born a girl, and also men shouldn't have access to women's spaces. And look, it can be very hard for trans people, it can be hard for LGBT people, but we have to have some common sense here. We have to realise that pushing hormones and puberty blockers and you know, encouraging children to change who they are, that is not right. That is not fair for children. Now, children need to grow up and learn to see who they are themselves without having this gender ideology being pushed on them.
Yeah. And this is a quick soundbite from Joe Rogan talking about this with Riley Bean, the swimmer who has been an activist against trans women competing against biological women in sports. Here's Joe Rogan.
They use these very sneaky terms like life-saving, gender-affirming care in regards to castrating children, putting on hormone blockers, removing their breasts. They use this crazy term that seems like, wow, it's got to be good. It's life-saving, gender-affirming.
What if this gets so, you know, out of control? Look at the numbers.
Fuck me, you and him.
Are seeking this kind of surgery, especially young women. We see this a lot in the United States who are influenced, I think, by what they see on social media and by their friends.
Yeah, this really is a phenomenon that's occurred within the last 2 years. You know, we've seen the numbers of people identifying as trans in the US go up to almost double. You know, 1 in 8 LGBT people now identify as transgender. And you know, this isn't just a naturally occurring phenomenon. This is something that is being pushed in society. So, you know, across the US, you have various school districts pushing transgender ideology in the classroom. You have, of course, apps like TikTok in the algorithm pushing transgenderism to a young audience. And, you know, kids just want to fit in. Kids just want to get that validation. So if they see someone like Dylan Mulvaney getting traction, getting love for being transgender, kids want to do that too. They all want to be loved. So I think this is a harmful trend, especially when we have states like California, which can basically class a parent as a child if they do not prefer the child's gender identity, and a 15-year-old can have a double vasectomy. So a variety of things pushing this from social media to schools, but at the end of the day, we should all be coming together to speak up for kids.
Children need to be surrounded with support and love and understanding. There's a reason why we don't let them drive cars and drink and smoke and do things until they're a little bit older and they have a little bit more judgment. And life-changing surgery can be a very difficult thing to deal with as people get older. I really appreciate you speaking out, and I thank you so much for being with us today. All the best to you.
Stepping off.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you as well. So coming up, President Biden readies $300 million in weapons to Ukraine while backing all his executive action on the border. That debate next.
God, we take this moment just to give you thanks. We thank you for this time to come together as a family, as friends, and as a country. Help us, Lord, especially this Lent, to bring closer to you. Amen. Join us in prayer this Lent on how we pray out.
Why did we choose Statecliff? We're always working on a project while loading up our SUV, one extra push and crack. So we scheduled at statelight.com. We were able to track our technician and exactly parts. We could keep working. Statelight came to us, replaced our windshield, and installed new wipers to protect our new glass. That service on our time. Statelight cares. Statelight replaces.
Application starts with how to get a private jet experience of one flight's back. You've gotta see this. Like in your itinerary, search from over 5,000 ways. Hey, and you're on your way. Nothing better
administration always starts with your flight experience.
Call for a complimentary flight.
Used car shopping.
2 rows, 2 dogs. Sold.
Oh, wow.
Let's pause for the facts. Like nearly half of all those cars, this puppy has been in an accident. But Carfax.com shows how an accident impacts price, so you don't have to overpay.
Oh,
On pause.
wow, this is cool. Yeah, sorry they called.
Shop the facts at the all-new Carfax.com.
Veteran homeowners need cash but worried you can't get a home loan because of your credit? Here's great news. At New Day, we've been granted automatic authority by the VA to make our own loan approval decisions. In fact, if you've had credit challenges and missed payment along the way, you're more than 5 times more likely to get approved for the New Day 100 VA cash out loan. No one knows veterans like New Day USA.
Call 1-855-510-4070.
I'm a 79-year-old powerlifter. I set 4 state records in New York State for my age bracket. I set a national record on the deadlift. See, the body is remarkable. It'll adapt to whatever you do. If you do enough, then you can generate faster than anybody else. Your body needs to be fueled. Depending on the fuel you put in, is how your body's going to adapt. I found to me, my body adapts better eating healthier food, putting better things in. I don't have the discipline to put together all of that food, the vegetables, anything. Forget about it. Balance in nature. I take balance in nature because I see the benefits to it. I'm reaping the benefit of this time. There's no question.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Get 35% off plus $10 off any additional set with your first order as a preferred customer. By using discount code in your box case.
Fuck.
In an instant, things can transfer.
Who she ain't dead.
But they are balance and a free fall. There are so few certain things.
Grenade out.
As we navigate the future, I'm glad it sounds to go. Standing the test of time.
1 month after a national security package crumbled on Capitol Hill for a fight that involved border security, President Biden found a way to send $300 billion of military aid to Ukraine without the help of Congress, funding money from cost savings on previously approved Pentagon contracts. Tommy Myron and Richard Fowler are here, but first, the White House correspondent, Jackie Myron. Hi, Jackie.
Conflicting signals from the president over the last several weeks. First, he said he's done all that he can on the border with the stroke of a pen, and then in the lead up to the State of the Union, he was considering taking action under 212F to restrict entries at the border, even talking to the governors last month. He was talking to his lawyers about what exactly might hold up in the courts. Then earlier this week, Biden indicated that he was no longer pursuing executive action, only for the White House yesterday to say it's still on the table.
You're asking if there's executive actions to take, and what we're saying is there are no executive actions that would have done the work, or would have actually been able to deal with the issue that's happening at the border and starting to fix the immigration system.
I always say that I know what you're saying. I do. Yes or no to that?
What I'm saying to you is that we always look at all our options. That's what I'm saying to you. But we are saying also that the only way to move forward to actually deal with this issue.
It's over.
Said that it prefers Congress legislate a lasting solution to this issue, but the bill the president's backing has no path in either chamber. It didn't clear the Senate. It's got no path in the House. There is one bill in the House to work as a board provision, but the president has not yet taken a position on that front.
Okay, Jackie, thank you very much. With that, we bring in Tommy Myron, host of Tommy Myron's Fearless on Outkick, and Richard Fowler, host of The Fowler Show, both are Fox News contributors. Tommy, Richard, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. Good to see you as well.
Signal confirmed. Export charges are active.
Vladimir Klitschko talking about aid from the United States. Watch.
We are struggling with lack of ammunition. We're struggling with lack of support, even though we're getting some
but how much is enough? We just got yesterday a deal of 300 million support, which sounds good, but it's a band-aid on a deeper wound. We need to fix this if we're moving.
So Tommy, I think everyone is aware of the situation in Ukraine and what they want in order to aid their fight against Vladimir Putin. But there's also a lot of concern about the threat that is going across the southern border that we heard so much about from our intel chief yesterday and the day before. With us.
Right now, the discussion over how long and how much we should support Ukraine, whether it's in perpetuity or if there's a cutoff of that, is a separate discussion. To me, this is a giant slap in the face to the American people because the entire crux of President Joe Biden's argument about his failure to secure the border is that Congress must act. He's waiting for Congress to do something for a lasting solution. But then just yesterday, he's gloating about circumventing Congress and getting Ukraine some of the money it needs to move once more. So if the entire basis of your argument for not securing our own country is that you don't have the authority or that Congress needs to act, but then you can fund the protection of another nation's border, I mean, that goes beyond hypocritical. That, again, is a slap in the face to the American people. And when you can't secure and you can't defend your own country, it's really unrealistic to ask the American taxpayers to fund another country in perpetuity. To me, this is disgraceful, and it just goes to show he's lying about what he can actually do to fix problems.
So, Richard, let's go to the simple question. Why doesn't President Biden, when he sees his full numbers on this issue, why doesn't he do what he can to stop the border?
Tommy is right. It is a separate issue. One, it's about foreign policy dealing with Congress should deal with immediately to make sure that we curtail the Russians and curtail their miserable and horrible actions in Ukraine. And number two, let's sort of put the border in focus. Yes, the president.
With him died the special weapon too. So no.
But let's rewind the clock and remember what happened in 2020 when Donald Trump signed that same executive action. About a day later, somebody sued the president. And when they sued former President Trump, a federal judge in California enjoined the president and stopped that executive action from happening. So whether the White House chooses to pass an executive action or not, what's going to happen is
That's a confirmed visual on the transmitter. Plant the export charges before they can cut it off from the network.
Why doesn't he do what he can do? We spoke to border officials. They said, hold on. But you're doing what if? What if, but why not? But I'm saying he's the president of the most powerful individual in the world. He's the leader of the free world. He has a massive security problem that is coming across the southern border. And he does have things he can do. So what if they turn around and sue him the next day? At least he can say, I'm the president, I'm not going to allow this anymore, and I'm going to do what I can do. Why doesn't he, Richard? That's my question. Why doesn't he?
I do not deny the fact that something has to be done for the border. Right?
But why doesn't he? Tell me your opinion.
I also know that we're not a dictatorship anymore. We're a democracy. We are free branches of government.
You're not answering. You're not going to answer my question, are you?
I'm answering that question.
What is your opinion on why he won't do what he can do?
The president should act, and I think the president should do is set a bill to the United States Congress, and the United States Congress should not be our immigration law.
I don't know why, but you're not answering. I'm so curious. I'd love to know what you actually think. I guess you're not going to tell me.
That is what I think.
Tommy, no, you're not answering my question. Why won't he? Tommy, why don't you take 30 seconds and answer the question from your opinion?
Well, I think our president, quite frankly, doesn't care about our national security, or the Democrats see more of a long-term plan to give illegal aliens the right to vote, mass amnesty, whatever they want to call it. And I also think this president... Go ahead, Tommy. This president right now can reinstate to remain in Mexico. He can finish the border wall. He can end catch and release. Those very simple things. He won't do it.
Yeah. It's bizarre. Really hard to head around. Richard and Tommy, thank you very much. That is the story for today. Thank you both for being here today. We will be back here tomorrow. Stay with us. You're almost first.
Let's vote. The yeas are 352. The nays are 65.
With every dance challenge music video, American users are unknowingly contributing to advanced surveillance apparatus.
I do wish you to protect national security. This is something we know about doing it.
This is really very much much about CCP and their ability to own data and use that data nefariously against our national security interests and against our citizens.
There are serious national security concerns. I don't believe it's crafted. It's problematic.
So businesses on here survive talks with that.
That transmitter is history.
Excellent.
Psychedelic taste, these rabbits, of the wondrous treats provided by the
By an overwhelming vote of 352 to 65, the vote right now is the Nielsen ratings say go away to this Chinese-run social media phenomenon. People, by and large, don't like what they're hearing and seeing and potentially witnessing. But we'll talk. Dr. Bear, you got rid of it in his state, or is trying to. In the meantime, the latest from Aisha Huska, Capitol Hill. What happens now, Aisha?
Hey, Neil, well, this bill is now headed to the Senate, and the House area is pretty unclear right now. The majority leader, Chuck Schumer, is non-committal, will only say that the committees will take a look at this bill text, despite the fact that this has gotten the endorsement from the Intel chair, the Intel vice chair, a majority of House Democrats, almost 200 House Democrats, including the minority leader in the House, also voted for this. And now the White House
Each of
is
our
also
soldiers has a
endorsing
unique
this bill.
relationship
Listen,
with their squad mates. As
we're
they
going to support
complete
it in a
combat
technical
missions
way,
together,
obviously.
their compatibility will grow and can eventually develop into a lasting bond.
Commander, having successfully recovered one of Dr. Vollen's genetically modified test subjects, I am eager to begin conducting an autopsy as soon as possible. It is my hope that by following her own research notes, I will gain an even greater understanding of just how she managed to accomplish these rapid changes.
And the bill was jammed through for one reason. It's a ban. We're hopeful that the Senate will consider the facts. Now, Fox is told that CEO Shou Chu has supposed to be visiting the Senate offices today, but really no one has seen him on the Capitol grounds. Neil, this as some of the no votes in the House are trying to explain why their Senate colleagues should kill this.
What would you recommend to Republican senators? Well, again, I would look at the Constitution. What is the role of the government here? This is not our job to do this.
Avenger
And I
plotting
think there
new
should be a
course.
lot of conversation about the role of tech and consumer data, but it's got to be applied across the board here to every tech company.
Neil, as of right now, it is
Commander,
highly
the aliens
doubtful the Senate
continue to
takes
make
this up
progress
for
on the
vote this
Avatar project.
Yeah.
If we're going to slow them down, we'll need to move fast.
Avenger
was the
plotting
first to
new
do
course.
something like this in his state, banned in his state, that is banned TikTok in his state. He's still having a battle of time trying to get that through and make it happen in his state. But when I spoke with him earlier today, he said that is the goal, and we should do it nationwide.
China's Communist Party have used these platforms to spy on Americans. China is not our friend, and I just applaud the House for taking the bipartisan action they did today.
This might be a watershed event in that it could endanger other sites and social media companies that have nothing to do with China, and an avalanche begins going after social media for being intrusive, for spying on us, all that. American and foreign companies alike. What do you think of that argument?
Well, I think this action is restricted to foreign adversaries. We don't want them to have inroads onto our mobile devices to spy on Americans. That's pretty simple. Divest it, continue to use TikTok. But this is a multifaceted approach.
All right, but it was Montana Governor Pierre Forte. There was the former Nebraska governor, Pete Ricketts, now the senator from that fine state, who banned out all of public systems in his state. And that ban remains in effect, I believe. Senator, good to have you.
Great. Hey, thanks very much for having me on again.
Facility coordinates locked in, Commander.
On our state devices, and that is still.
All right, so how did that work at the time? Again, you focused on state devices, so anyone who worked for the government or the state.
Our inspiration did prove beneficial.
Anything like that.
I am ready to begin on your orders.
Soon be offered. How did you get it offered?
Though I was never witness to one myself, countless observers attest to the existence of a much smaller, less intimidating variant of the sectoid that took part in the original invasion. In the time since, this new being, the product of clear genetic manipulation, is now a familiar face to our forces operating in the field.
I'm wondering how far you think it goes here. Now, I don't even know at this point whether the Senate will take up this matter, but given the lopsided nature of this vote in the House, and
genetic engineering
bipartisan,
and their pursuit of
is the
advancement,
pressure on Chuck Schumer to make it
the
happen?
risks.
Well, it should be on
The
Chuck Schumer to make
scientist
this
is
happen.
eager
This is
to
an important
begin,
national
Commander.
security issue. Now, look, if you are going to own a TV or radio station, we, the federal government, make you say you're a citizen, U.S. citizen, and you're not a felon. Well, guess what? We're talking about adversaries of the United States. China, Russia,
Power
Iran,
relay now
they're not
operational.
U.S. citizens, and the communists are felons. I mean, no, this is a terrible thing that is working against us. So this is something that we ought to do. If the president should come out, not just say he'd sign the bill, but he should call Chuck Schumer and say, hey, you need to put this bill up as quickly as possible. This is a national security issue. And as it's important to point out, this is not a ban. It's just requiring that the Chinese Communist Party to divest this into American ownership so that we don't have our adversaries spying on us. And by the way, we would never allow the U.S. government to collect this much data on our systems. Why are we allowing the Chinese communists to collect that much data on our systems?
All right, why don't you clarify what really this bill does? It's asking ByteDance, the Chinese-owned parent company of TikTok, to divest itself of TikTok. But I was thinking, Senator, even if we got such assurances that ByteDance did this, said goodbye, TikTok, you're not part of this any longer, how do we know that China has kept to that ByteDance has kept to that, if they're still not spying?
Well, one of the things we know about the Chinese Communist Party is that they're willing to lie, they're going to use cameras with us. So just like I not only have the policy,
Commander, we've pushed our current power systems to the limit.
we're
We
going
don't
to
have
have
any
to set up
capacity to
systems to be
spare,
able to make sure
which means we
that
can't
ByteDance
expand our
has
facilities
divested,
further.
not continue to provide the information to the Chinese Communist Party, and that's going to be true for anybody who falls.
All right, now there are a lot of young people, including the sons of an age to go ahead and vote, but they're not happy with this move to get rid of TikTok, and they think that everyone spies, and maybe they're just cynical, and they can probably get that in their mind. But my point is that they don't like it. They don't like the notion of the government moving to take something away from them. How do you address that part of the population?
Well, again,
We had some wounded soldiers requiring treatment after that last covert action. With a few days rest, they'll be ready to get back in.
This latest piece of intel on the Chosen might prove useful. Keep this up, Commander. It might just make you an honorary Reaper. If you've got something new for us, Commander, my Reapers are up for taking on some additional orders.
Our influence with the resistance factions has motivated them to share some new information on the Chosen.
They're so cynical about this. Everyone spies on it. Everyone is looking at every stroke they make. I try to make the point, well, this is China we're talking about here. They sometimes kind of wish to sell kids. They don't care. They've gotten to the age where the privacy doesn't seem to be a paramount concern because it's compromised every day with U.S. companies, let alone those abroad. What do you say?
Well, certainly, again, I certainly recognize that young people have a different level in regard to how they're comfortable with American privacy, but this is a national security issue. So this is where we have both the chair and ranking member of the Intel Committee and the Senate say this is a good idea. It shows you it's bipartisan. The vote today in the House shows you it's bipartisan. Folks here in D.C. recognize this is a national security issue. We want to make sure that our citizens have what we're here to do. And this is one of the ways that we have to do it. The Chinese Communist Party is not our friend. They're a danger to us. The largest existential threat outside this country to us. We've got to stop them from taking advantage of our open system. This is one of the ways we do it.
Senator, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to join us. We'll look at your application. This is the show. It's very good seeing you, sir. All right, we're going to be talking about the national security justification moments with Senator Warren tomorrow on this very show. His thoughts on exactly how we progress here, move beyond this here. In the meantime, you probably heard that we've already had a rematch set, the exact same.
Let's save it.
4 years ago.
I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out.
56.